Ahoy, Buck fans! What's going on tonight? Welcome again to the Bucks to the aftermath on 102.9 The Game, Broad Street South Radio. Glad to have you back. Stay tuned tonight. We got a lot to talk about. We got to talk about the value of NFL players nowadays. We got to talk about the love and the hate that is being spurred on your Bucks players, especially the rankings, because we're gonna chop up this ranking system, and we're gonna just give you not from a Bucks perspective, but actual football knowledge. So sit back, get you a drink, get you a cigar, get your ships ready, because we about to have another hell of a show. Enjoy, y'all. And again, what's going on, guys? What's up? Welcome to the Bucks the Aftermath on 102.9 The Game, Broad Street South Radio. AJ Turnip in the house. We got Coach Slick, aka the British guy, and he's always fly. How you doing today, sir? Yeah, that's right. Show them those Sandwell Steeler
Feeling
guns.
good.
And shout out to the Sandwell Steelers. Coach Slick is always getting them right. And look, let's continue to show support. Again, go check out my page about Bucking Time. Give Coach Slick an opportunity. This is deeper than just right now, not just for the Buccaneers, but we hope so. But again, we want to bring this man over to the States so we can get that nice UK expertise football mindset. We love it. But everything else going
Bringing
good?
it in, yeah, baby. We got to bring it in. Yeah, man, just started a new job, so it's kind of fun just getting things right, getting myself filled out for the new role. So it seems like a nice company to work for, so I'm quite happy with that. And then got football practice today. This was a busy day for me. I didn't stop since 7 a.m.
Okay. How was practice successful?
Practice had been poorly attended after the last win, so they decided to make them run hill sprints for 20 minutes.
That's right. My man, look, you got to give him that.
Okay, they got to toughen up.
Give him that Coach Carter treatment.
They got to toughen up. I said it last week. I said, guys, you want to be coached up. You want to get better. The only way that happens is you turn up. You don't turn up, you ain't getting any better.
Mm-hmm.
And you're going to slide down that depth chart.
That's right. Practice, 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 practice. When you win a game, if anything, you should go over and look at what did we do that cost us to not lose instead of
what can
winning.
we sharpen up? We should be sharpening. Yep. We should be sharpening iron, not taking rest days.
That's right. And Jeff Olson,
when teams that win rings do not take fucking rest days.
Mm-hmm. And Jeff, he's got a compliment for you. We love the gold hair stripe. That's right. Shit is fire. That is fire. Look, all you need now is to get you a Pirates hat and get you a patch. There it is. There it is. There it is. Look, and again, guys, on October 27th, this brother right here now, we will be in Tampa, Florida at the Atlanta Falcons game, and I hope to God we deep fry these motherfuckers. I want them to put up the same score that they put on us on that miserable Thursday night game. I want to see 56 points by the Bucs because we have the potential. This is a good-ass team. I know it might not happen, but if it were to happen,
it probably won't happen, but we want it to happen.
Oh, yeah.
We want it to happen.
I'd be blacked out drunk by then. I'd be talking so much shit. Oh, man, Falcon fans wouldn't want to see me. Look here, guys. I'd be playing Welcome to Atlanta in the stands, showing my ass. But again, guys, you are in a treat for a hell of a show because, again, for whatever reason, your beloved Bucs get no love. Especially after, now I know we got Rick from Bucs Live who'd be like, who cares? I do. I know Rick has been around long enough to where he can get that, he can knock that off his system. I don't. I take that some type of way because I want my Bucs
you take
players.
It personally, don't you?
Yes, I want my Bucs players to get the recognition they deserve, and not just because they're my team, but from a football, just for the love of the game. I don't care who you are. If you can ball the fuck out, that's who I like. I like some of my favorite players, Slick, of all time were not Buck fans. I'm a big Marshawn Lynch fan. I like Charles Woodson, Ed Reed. Those guys were football legends, and I love that. But right now, I just feel like a lot of these commentators, Slick, are these PFF analytic assholes who just come out there and say shit where they go, well, we're going to do this in theory, but it's like, yeah, but you ain't been out on the field. I don't give a damn if the guy ran a 4.32 in his 40. When them pads come on and the game clock come on, he slow as molasses, or he can't take a hit, or he can't run his route. So I don't give a damn about that. So
we've all seen the likes of John Ross running down the track field and making blazing down the track field and running a great 40. What's he done in the NFL?
What's he done in the NFL? What's he done in the NFL? I tell people this all the time. It's a skill and a mindset, and you got to be damn near insane to play.
Not a fucking lot.
Yep, there it is.
AJ, in the NFL, not a fucking lot.
That's right. Not for long. Exactly. There's so many meanings for the NFL. That's yeah. I always tell people, like, just because don't listen to the analysts all the time. Of course, they might sound like it because they know how to articulate it, but when the game happens on the field, anything goes. They thought your Bucs were going to get blown out in the Super Bowl by the great Mahomes, despite him not having two tackles. That is, one of arguably the most important position on the line. Kelsey, who couldn't block, which Coach Slick always eloquently tells you that he cannot block. Because if he could, he would. He can't because he ain't.
He can run block. He can't pass block.
Yeah, his pass block is.
And also, people don't seem to understand because they don't play him as a connected tight end. Mm-hmm. Yeah, he can run block, but let me put this a different way. Who are you run blocking if you're a connected tight end, defensive ends? Who do you run block when you're a slot? You're usually going up against a nickel or a linebacker. It's not the same. It's not the same as going up against an O lineman or a tight end.
I know what you mean.
You could have a nickel, I guess. It depends on what the nickel comes down and plays. But you predominantly could be going against other tackles, against a defensive end, or edge rusher. They're built a little bit different.
And then you got to remember, sometimes you can't sleep on them nickels. Remember, Rondé Barber was a nickel. If he blitzed, tight ends, it's hard because, one, he's a smaller guy. He can get underneath. I've seen Kelsey run block, and his run blocking is sometimes suspect too because I've seen him give up where he doesn't want to get in the dirt. He's not a Gronk-esque or a Kittle or George Kittle type where they don't give a fuck. They're gonna plow you over. But anywho, let's get this one out of the way because again, it always circles back to number 13, guys. We should be very thankful and appreciative that we got a guy that is good and humble and great as Mike Evans. This man has reconstructed his contract so many times. He doesn't quit on your team no matter what. Again, when he first got
team out of the year,
the Bucs organization, shit. Yeah, we were shit. And he's a charitable person, but again, he balls out. I bring this up, Buck fans and Slick, is because a lot of people thought that I was being a hater when it was mentioned just a few days ago, Justin Jefferson signed for $160 million. First of all, hey, shout out to him, get the bag. But people asked me, do you think that was a little too much? And I said, absolutely. I say that because from a football perspective, not who's going to throw him the ball. He has an unproven quarterback we don't know if he's going to be able to keep up. And again, his character can come into questioning sometimes because what's going to happen when you don't get your way? And then it doesn't help for future if they need more players. How are you going to afford that? That they don't realize sometimes this is why I always say this, like, if you allow social media to pressure an organization, you guys aren't built. You're not built enough for that. Sometimes you have to tell the media, I know what the hell I'm talking about. You don't. That's just how
he's quite lucky that his cap hit to the team doesn't really affect them until year 2026. So that This year the cap hits 8.5 mil. Following years, it's 15 and a quarter mil, and then it starts to hit. Then it's 40 mil, 43 mil, 47 mil, and then he's got avoidable. He's got a avoidable year on his contract in the year after that. So
he sure does. And thank you again, Chris.
It's a good contract. It's a good contract written to begin with.
It is. It's a good contract, but at
the
same
dead
time,
cap on it is not nice at all.
Yeah, I agree. Oh, well, let's give a shout out to our guest first.
It's a good contract that pays him well, but
yes. I don't know.
It's a good contract that pays him well, that doesn't really affect the team until 2 years, until about year 2026. Yeah. That's when it really starts to creep in, and then they're never going to cut this guy because I don't think he's going to be bad. That's the thing. I don't think he's going to be bad. The issue is, will the cap hit outweigh? Because you know what I'm saying? Because if you think about it, year 26 or 2026, he's being paid $40 million. That's quarterback money. Yeah. That's quarterback money. Our quarterback's on less money than that. So
yes, you're paying.
That's when it's going to hit hard.
Exactly, but my only issue is, why are you paying quarterback money for a guy that's not the quarterback? And again, you can't throw the ball. Now I'd say he has had 4 consistent 1,000-yard seasons, which is cool. But let me see if he's gonna. But again, we got to have the same narrative, because here's what I don't want to hear, in my opinion, Slick. If the team, let's say if the Vikings just shit the bed and they just blow it and they turn into a 5-12 team because of injuries or the quarterback is taking time to develop. Yeah. He's frustrated. What I don't want to hear is, and let's say if he does put up another 1,000-yard season, but the team goes to shit, I would be like, look, you better have the same energy that you had for Evans. Because remember, we used to say this years ago, but look at Evans' productivity. But his team stinks. So they better have the same kind of analysis, criticism that they had for Evans, because Evans also he didn't have a good quarterback to throw to him his first few years coming in the league. So this is going to show, if Jefferson doesn't have a 1,000-yard season, are we going to say it's his fault, or are they going to blame the quarterback? No excuses. No excuses. If he doesn't get 1,000 yards, I don't want to hear it's because of quarterback play. If anything, this will further show why Evans is more valuable at this point, because he produces no matter what.
Yeah. I mean, if Mike Evans gets 1,000 yards, he would be then the 23rd in most in yards. Let's say he turns into a 1,300 season. He's probably just outside the top 20 all time. And let's look at his touchdowns list, which is probably the one that you really want to talk about, because it's the big one, right? It's where you get paid to do. Help score points, put points on the board. He's currently ranked 13th. Let's say he got 10 touchdowns. That would put him in the top 9. If he gets 10 touchdowns, puts him at 8. He takes over the great Tony Gonzalez.
Woo! Say that again. The great Tony Gonzalez, not just no bum.
Takes over Steve Largent, takes over Tim Brown, takes over Don Hudson. Yeah.
These are okay. These are good players. I rest my case. I predict,
once you're in single digits in any particular all-time stat, you're in the conversation of being a Super Bowl. Don't matter about no fucking Pro Bowls. In my opinion, if you're in the top 10 of stats that matter, and we're talking stats that matter, and these are stats that matter: scoring touchdowns and getting yards. They are stats that matter. Hey, what's the only why is trying to remember the player's name? There are a fair few players like Dan Marino who are stat padders, who have great stats but never won anything. Mike Evans has the chip too. has the chip too. He's got the community side of it. He is a Hall of Famers selection committee dream, because the only thing you can argue about with him was, oh, he wasn't the top 5 ever in his position. Well, that's irrelevant because he's been consistently top 10. And none of them can turn around and say, from a career span of 2013 to 2000, where we are now, about to become 2024, when he plays this year, no one's had that level of consistency. It's never been done, before that often. That's special. Of course, it's been done before. Jerry Rice's and those types of people, but they weren't always great out of the gate. Some of them took a year or two to get to acclimatize again, and then they shot to stardom. He shot to stardom from day one and has been a literal star for the Buccaneers. Whereas people like Julio Jones, they fizzled out. You've had people like Devontae Adams. He took a couple of years to get going. When he got going, he was great, and he still is statistically great. You also have we got else on here. DeAndre Hopkins. He's had down years in the last few years, so he's in the conversation, but he's got the down years. You got the Tyreek Hills, who's catching up really impressively. Travis Kelce, but it depends how you want to view him. And then after that, everyone's just kind of falling out. Julio Jones is miles away from everyone. I mean, he's better in the receiving yard race. We go in the receiving yard race. Yeah. Mike Evans is third out of the all currently live wide receivers. All it takes is one of those guys to retire, and he is in front. And Julio Jones, let's face it, shouldn't be playing football anymore. He should retire.
Well, he's not the same guy he used to be, and that's okay. When he was electrifying,
he's never going to pad his stats enough where it's going to matter.
No, not at all. I agree.
That's what I
agree. And I want to mention the Jerry Rice situation.
I'm just looking at how if he got 300 yards.
Yes.
If he got 300 yards, he could squeeze himself into the 13th place, and that's as far as it's going to go.
Agreed.
All-time receiving yards.
Right. I want to go back to what you said about if Evans matches Jerry Rice. In a way, the storyline would actually benefit Mike Evans more than the Jerry Rice. And I say this not to say that Mike Evans was better than Jerry, because that's blasphemous. But his journey to get to those stats were much more challenging than Jerry Rice. I tell people this: Jerry Rice, of course, is the greatest wide receiver, but he is also more than likely the luckiest. Guys, do you know how many his quarterbacks were? Every Jerry Rice never
two
had
Hall of Famers.
Yeah, 2 Hall of Famers and 1 MVP. And one was an MVP. Well, and Joe Montana was arguably the greatest before Brady. Then you had Steve Young, who, like you said, is a Hall of Fame. Then you had Rich Gannon, who was an elite quarterback for years. He was the 2002 MVP. So, and again, Jerry Rice was never truly on a bad team. And then when he was, he retired.
He never had trash thrown to him, for sure.
He's never.
I think that's the adversity. I think that's why it's why we like players like DeAndre Hopkins. DeAndre Hopkins was on with a lot of sorry wide receivers. He did get a bit of an upgrade, but he never. But then the thing I find irritating about a DeAndre Hopkins, that guy got greedy because he could have gone at any team. He could have gone to the Patriots back in when he signed the deal with no, before that.
The Cardinals?
Cardinals. Yeah, when he was with the Cardinals, he chose to go there.
Yeah. For
what? For who? For what? Why? There was no reason to go to the Cardinals. They weren't an emerging team at the time. They really weren't. They'd just come out. I think they had a good season with Larry Fitzgerald, and then they had a bad season, and then that's when BA retired, and then he joined them after that. He joined them after the BA years. I agree. When they were still figuring shit out. That was a money move. That wasn't like he could have gone to the Patriots and got a ring if Tom Brady was still in thing. He wouldn't have come here because he could have. He could have been the Antonio Brown instead of it being. I'd have to go back and look at the when he got signed and what have you, but he literally could have gone to a lot of better choice teams than the fucking Cardinals. Come on.
I I agree.
And you see players do this. Oh, I'm going to go ring chase. I'm going to go find myself a championship. Julio Jones did it. What did he do? He betted on the fucking Titans. He betted on the Titans when he could have gone to Kansas City and danced his way to a ring. But they don't want it. They don't want the shit money. They're like, no, well, I still want to get paid. I'm like, yes, but do you want a guaranteed ring? Look at Antonio Brown. He took that shitty deal. That wasn't a great deal for him. It was the best deal he was going to get because of all the for reasons and legit reasons. But he was like, I have an opportunity, and I think it serviced him so well because if you think about it, had he been on the top of his game and maybe he got injured or he had a little bit of a spat in the media and how he was portrayed or what have you, or some of the he only did a little bit of the dumb shit that he did, he probably might think his price is too high to go and play for somewhere like Tampa or somewhere like that, and then he'd end up going to, oh well, I think the such and such teams are merging, so I'll go and join the Jets. Before the Jets are the Jets they are right now. And that's the difference. I don't know why teams like, if I was going to ring chase, I'm looking at the top 4 teams in the NFL and say, what can you offer me? And then look, and what can you offer me in terms of money? And what can you offer me in terms of scheme? And what can you offer me in terms of like how much production you're going to give me? I'll look at their quarterback. I'm going to even look at their defense. Have they got a defense that can keep a team off the field? Because there's no point going to a high-powered defense, a high-powered offense, if their defense is trash.
Agree.
Teams have done that before. They're like, oh yeah, they got a really, really good quarterback in here, but the defense sucks. They ain't going to stop anybody.
Right, and
that's the real. That's the real team.
Yeah. And thank you, Tampa Film Junkie. I appreciate that. We do our best. Bucs Report. We're not just Buck fans. We are football fanatics.
We're in the trying business.
Yeah, we're in the keep it real business, and we call it how it is. And Slick just said it. Some of these guys, they get greedy, and their greed cost them a legacy because, like you said, here he comes. We got the dude coming in the house in a second.
Wait for music.
What is up, dude?
I don't give a damn, JT, if Justin Jefferson is the best receiver in the last 10 years. You don't give $40 million to a player who spends more time on the sideline dancing around when they're getting their heads kicked in than he does on the field. That said, that's the only real comment I had towards my buddy JT over there. Hey, so I'll quote a wrestling legend here. And I'll say, hey, YouTube, hey, Twitter, hey, Twitch, what do you guys want to talk about? Are we talking about the Saints yet? Because I'm here for that.
Oh, you read my mind. We were going to get on that. Now, one of the guys, Slick, said something. First of all, he was already humbled by Jason Light last year when he bet against the Bucs. But then again, he says this is the order that he said the NFC South will finish. The Saints, number 1. Falcons 2, Bucs 3, and then the Panthers 4. And this was my expression when I saw this shit. That was me. That was the way I looked when I saw that. I said, you got to be kidding me.
Don't do yourself a disservice. You look much better than that.
I'm sorry. I don't know if he was trolling or not, but how in the hell is the Saints going to be a better team? They didn't do anything. What, Slick, this is just not even from a Bucs perspective, from a football perspective. What did the Saints do to make them look like they're going to be contenders?
I think they were exactly where they were last year. I don't think they're any better than they were last year.
Can you say that a little louder for people out there who don't understand the game?
I looking at what the picks they made and the people they brought on, I don't think they're any better than they were last year. And if you're a team that didn't win fuck all last year, then you're probably going to win fuck all this year. That's kind of usually how it works.
Brilliant.
Yeah, I'm in the phase of Bucs. I go Bucs, Falcons, and Saints, and I think the Saints and the Falcons will duke it out all the way to the end.
100%. I agree. 100%.
I'm gonna throw some salt even on that a little bit. Okay.
Go on. I said it ain't gonna hurt me. I'm not a Saints fan.
If Justin Jefferson is the best wide receiver in the league, according to our buddy down there in the comment section, JT Olson, and Kirk Cousins couldn't get him over any significant hump in Minnesota, what weapons does he have in Atlanta that are better than the best receiver in the league?
That's
yeah.
Pat was the best receiver in the league, and that one getting paid fuck all.
Is this where that tight end from Florida realizes he's playing football and has a 700, 800, 900-yard season with 10 touchdowns? Is that because of Kirk Cousins? Is Kirk Cousins gonna go ahead and run the table in the division and win the championship of the division and then go lose in the first round of the playoffs? Has Kirk Cousins ever won a playoff game? Can Kirk Cousins learn a new system on a brand new Achilles and have half the talent offensively that he had in Minnesota and be better than he was in Minnesota? Or have we just witnessed yet another case of, for some reason, Kirk Cousins always gets paid, but the team never gets laid?
I think Kirk Cousins is a hell of a stick-up artist. That man literally tells him stick him up, and it's just his hand. He's like, stick him up, and then he walks away. Just walks away with the bag.
His interviewing technique must be sublime, because there's no way that many people should fall for it. I don't even think he's a bad quarterback. I just don't think he's great. I think he's a bridge quarterback at best.
I think he's a McCown. I think he's a journeyman. I think he's slightly, I'll put it this way. If 1 through 5 is the rating, with 5 being the highest, he's a solid 3. You can install an offense and load up on weapons behind him, because you're going to be picking pretty decent every year. But when it comes to the rubber meeting the road, when it comes to primetime football, go check out his primetime record and then get back to me. But before you get back to me, when you see his primetime record and his playoff record, you have to yell this in the back of your head. How you like that? Because that's what he's famous for. He's famous for coming to Tampa Bay and beating a team coached by a coach who had no business being a coach. He's good for, I don't even know what. Like I said, he's a middle of the pack guy. He keeps getting paid big. How many playoff wins does he have? How many primetime games has he won? How many division titles does he own? Okay. How many times are you going to let this man, Kurt Cobain, like I like to call him, walk into your organization, take a check, eat your buffet, and then when it comes time to perform on Sunday, here's the thing. No Minnesota fan knew which Kirk Cousins they were getting each week when the ball was kicked off. They didn't know if they were going to get the crap the bed Cousins. They didn't know if they were going to get the, oh my God, he looks like Dan Marino. And that's my point here. You don't put all your eggs in this basket of a guy who hasn't really figured out what his identity is. Is he a pocket passer? Is he a RPO guy? What kind of quarterback is he? He's a middle-of-the-road guy. Here's my big shock with the Falcons. You didn't get it done with Ritter. You're not going to get it done with Kirky. When are you going to actually, I don't know, invest not just money, but scheme and development in a quarterback? When are you going to draft a quarterback that you believe in and put the necessary tools around him, from the coaching staff to the trainers to the players on the field? Here's the thing I'll say about the Falcons. Cool stadium. Rich McKay, you done fell off, bro. You build a team from the lines backwards, but you're so hell-bent on being relevant, which I get, that you last year, and you guys, I believe, went on one of these podcasts. We had a Falcons guy on here. Y'all went hard for Ritter. Hard. Like he was going to be like, I don't know, like Brock Purdy, but better or something in his come out party. The only thing he came out of was the shower soaking wet. Now It's like, oh, don't worry. Kirk is the guy. You've been saying this guy, enter name, is the guy for 10 years since Matt Ryan left. Matt Ryan left there with gas in the tank, but you gave up on him, 28 to 3 reasons why. With all that said, I do think the Buccaneers win the division. I don't think it's an 11-plus win season. I think 10 wins is the mark that we're looking at here. Double digits. I need a double-digit season again. I miss those.
AJ's got the Bucs wrapped it up by week 13.
I said 14. I changed it to 14. I changed it to 14. I say that, and here's why. Hear me out. I hear what you're saying, dude, but this is where I say this. It's going to be a blessing in disguise for the Bucs. The offense, have you been looking at the OTAs? They've been saying that the running back that we got has been much better. Also, again, we have a new, fresh-minded offensive coordinator in Liam, who I think a lot of times he has all the pieces. One thing I do like about college coaches, they try to implement a lot of things that benefit their players and schemes. And again, that's why I think this offense is going to take the next step. I do think that Baker and Mike Evans they have a good chemistry now. They already said that Godwin is going to go back into the slot position where he's going to be great at. Otten is only going to get better. The line, I think Graham just can be average as a center. And then if the Bucs run game is average, I think it'll be a wrap. But the biggest thing is this defense. Todd Bowles is going to make this defense fucking nasty. Look at all the draft picks he has this year. They're going to be nasty pieces.
And like I said to you off air, we brought up the name. No one, not that these names I'm about to throw out, they're going to be game changers or jump off points for the defense to get better. But we're talking with this defense, you need a rotation and you need depth. Okay. Yep. Bryce Hall coming in provides depth with Tyke Smith and the defensive backfield. You've got arguably the best safety tandem, top to bottom, all around, not necessarily playmakers, but best at their jobs, and Whitehead and Winfield. No one's talking about Chris Braswell. And to go off of that, as much as, the guy's had some problems in his career, no one's talking about the fact that Randy Gregory just gets to rush the quarterback now. Because we signed Randy Gregory, and he's a hell of a rusher. His problem is every other part of the game. But they're bringing him to rotate him in, rushing a passer. JTS has to step up or he's going to be gone by trade deadline. But then you got Yaya. You've got Servassier, who looks like he's stepping up. KJ Britt snatched that job from Devin White. Yes, Levante David doesn't seem to age. Okay? You got Jamel Dean, who is probably the most underrated defensive back in the league, only because nobody looks at he's that victim. You know how most players get hyped up on their highlights? Yeah. Jamel Dean gets dragged for his lowlights. That said, a rotation is going to help this. We've got an offensive line now with a legitimate center, first time since Ryan Jensen. Running back, Rachaad White is dying to be a 1,000-yard back. He's dying to be a 15 to 1,700-yard from scrimmage guy. Bucky Irving and the rest of the Buccaneers depth chart at running back, they're going to be returning kicks now. That's about things people aren't talking about. Wide receivers don't return kicks no more in this league. You'll see that this year. With all that said, if Bucky Irving and these draft picks can they don't have to show out. If they can contribute with the depth the team now has, you're looking at a defense you're looking at a defense that's going to be scary. And if Baker just plays status quo with Godwin back in the slot, and you got either Trey Palmer or Jalen McMillan burning down the sideline, and of course, Mr. Steady Hammy, Mike Evans, always getting the 50-50 balls, all I need now is the tight ends to step up, and we golden, Pony Boy. We golden.
And you forgot on defense, Cansey, I think, is going to be the biggest ups. He's going to have the biggest impact Mark my words, dude. He is the reason why Vea is going to get another contract year, or he's going to look good. Canty is going to show out this year. I tell people, go back to that fucking Detroit playoff game. He was wrecking havoc then. They didn't know what to do with him, and he was a rookie. Now he's got a season under his belt. He's coming in 5 pounds, a little heavier, but he said he wants to do that so he can get a little more physical. He's going to help Vita Vea, and helping Vita Vea means Yaya is going to be able to go off. Shit, Rick Hughes said Yaya is going to be a 12-sack season guy. Shit, if that happens, can you imagine what Canty's going to do? And Broswell, who I think is going to be, I see Broswell, if they do it right, I see him getting between 5 to 6 sacks this entire season. I can see that. And this is another one. You know who's going to be the defensive player of the year? Winfield. Winfield is going to go off. Winfield, and you know this, dude, he gets better and better every season. Can we not say that? He typically gets better and better. Yeah. Oh, man, this defense is going to be a fucking nightmare. That's why I say that. And now if we're going to talk about the sorry-ass Saints, you just said it, Slick. They literally didn't really upgrade. The defense is still dying. Cameron Jordan is going to be sorry as shit. He'll get 2 sacks this season. They have nobody. We already know Marshawn Lattimore ain't going to do anything. Pretty much just talk shit and try to start shit with Evans, but Evans will be bigger than that. Who do they have? Like you said, quarterback Derek Carr. Derek Carr, in a way, is just undeveloped Derek Carr.
Man, I've been sitting out here for 6-7 seasons here and saying fans tell me how Slant Boy was the best receiver in the league. Okay, fine. But you know what? Here's your flowers for him. Now tell me how you lose the best receiver in the league and you're going to be better. You didn't replace him with anything. Chris Olave is a walking injury and a one-trick pony. If you're being 100% honest, you jam him with the line, he falls apart.
Exactly.
Cam Jordan, all he's done since he had a good season, was sign a deal with the 5th largest pizza chain. That's all he's done. Little Caesars, bro. Little Caesars Pizza. You know, no disrespect, but if I buy a pizza and I have to put salt on that son of a bitch, you're not doing pizza right, boys. So Cam ain't gonna do shit. Their defense it's adequate but not dominant. They've got weapons. Alvin Kamara ain't been Alvin Kamara in 3 seasons, or at least since he beat up that dude in Vegas.
Yep.
And so we're putting it all on Derek Carr. And again,
how many times has Derek Carr dragged a team to the playoffs?
Never. As many times as that Ritter kid did in Atlanta.
And how many times has Derek Carr won a playoff game?
And we're going to travel. We're going to travel over to Charlotte. We're going to talk about the Panthers a little bit. Dave Canales is going to learn real quick that his quarterback is just not tall enough to ride this ride, bro. He's just not. And so
who's going to throw it to?
If the Buccaneers don't make any mistakes and don't do anything stupid and don't suffer a bunch of catastrophic injuries, they should be the odds-on favorite to win the division. Now, with that said, I'm going to be straight up. This division sucks top to bottom if you look at it as a whole. But all the teams, well, one of the teams, the Falcons, went out and spent a bunch of money on a quarterback, and they are expecting, keep in mind what the Buccaneers did to this man in week 1 of last season. They're expecting Kirk Cousins to take that team and put them on their shoulders and carry them to a division title and a playoff run. Now, here's the thing. If Kirk Cousins had a resume of doing that, I could understand it, but he doesn't. He just doesn't. So, 3-time defending division champ, got Baker on an extension, got Evans on an extension. We've got an offensive line here in Tampa that is arguably one of the nastier lines in the league, as far as it's like they all started to assume the Ryan Jensen persona, which is great.
Yes.
So, yeah, we're going to build up the Bucs because, you know, it says right there on the little platform you're fucking watching on Bucs Report. But let's be real. Yeah. Derek Carr isn't even a Pro Bowl quarterback. Name me the Pro Bowlers on the Saints. coming up. Who's going to make the Pro Bowl for the Saints?
No one. Maybe Lattimore, and that's just because he cries so much and he just looks like he's good. But that's about it. Demario Davis, maybe, but I think Demario Davis is on a downslide.
And let me ask you this.
Demario Davis is probably the best shout you've got on that team.
And New Orleans, the city, the Saints, the team, the fan base, lots of passion, much respect, much love for all that. That's cool. But here's my question. How are you going to not pay your bills? How are you not paying your bills at the stadium? Okay? I've been to New Orleans. I've seen all those people on the French Quarter and on Bourbon Street. You're making tax money. The team's making money. I see the financials. I see the TV deals. How are you not paying your contractors? How are you not paying your bills, Saints? Okay. Just so we're clear, you call us a poverty franchise when you have less trophies, less titles, less championships, less playoff appearances, and you can't even pay your freaking bills. You're a deadbeat franchise. That's what you are. Okay? You got that one ring because Drew Brees' mole decided to be the center stage coming out of Katrina. The league handed you that. Go look at the plays that were overturned or the missed calls. But that happens. So congratulations. You have half the rings the Buccaneers do. Half. But do you know what we have? We have a stadium where we pay the bills and the electricity stays on for major events. Remember when the electricity went out in the Super Bowl? Do y'all remember that?
Oh, yeah.
So New Orleans, know your role and shut your hole.
Right. Exactly. Chill, go pay the bill. That's it.
Yeah, know your role and shut your hole and realize the entire world only comes there to take a piss and throw up in your streets, bro.
Damn. And flash them a couple of times. That's
the thing.
Just to hit on Kirk Cousins.
No, go ahead.
To hit on Kirk Cousins, he's won 12 of 20 primetime games. He has won one playoff game. That's it.
Yeah, one.
Was that with the Vikings or the Washington team over there?
I would have to look further.
I think it's the Vikings. I think he won one game with the Vikings. Shit. And I was going to say it was
he the quarterback that beat the Saints? Was he the quarterback that beat the Saints in the fucking ski diving accident?
No, that was Case Keenum. That was Keenum. That wasn't Kirk. That was Case Keenum.
The point is you're not Atlanta acting like they signed Tom Brady.
I agree 100%. The way that they were talking, I'm like, you mean the guy? And again, you said it. We beat him with, y'all say, the best receiver. Drake London ain't no damn Justin Jefferson. Hell, in a way, the way that your boy Pitts is right now, he might become another O.J. Howard. A lot of potential, but flames out. So what are we saying here? Again, we're not saying this, guys, because we're just Buck fans. This is just football. And again, you got a guy with Baker coming in with another season with his players, and he's going to have the repertoire. Hell, him and Wirfs are pals, basically, chilling out. The chemistry is building. Maybe this year, guys, Bowles might learn from his mistakes and say, hey, I'm going to do this a certain way this time. We don't know, but the future is brighter, as you guys just eloquently all said it. The Saints, you don't have enough to do anything. And as you said, I agree. Olave is a one-trick pony, but they don't like to talk about it because he has this upside. We'll see. But again, and that brings me into the next conversation, guys, because I want you on here.
Just to jump in before you do the next segment, boss.
Yes, sir.
It was with the Vikings, and it was against the New Orleans Saints.
Was it that
in
Miracle
2019?
Cat? Was it that Miracle? Was it the Miracle Cat? I thought it was Case Keenum that threw that, but okay. Gotcha.
So wait, that was what, 2019 you said?
Yeah, it's been 5
2019.
years.
So Kirk Cousins ain't won a playoff game since Jameis Winston went 30 for 30.
Damn.
Yep.
Think about how long ago that seems that was.
I know. That's been 5 years. Good God. Oh, man. Yeah. And this is why.
Remember, this team lost to the Giants after being the number 2 seed.
Yep. Yep, I remember that
in
one.
2022.
Was that the Daniel Jones-led Giants?
Yep, that was the
Yes.
Daniel Jones Giants.
You got beat by Daniel Jones in a playoff game, bro?
Yeah, I'd be crying too. And I wanted to jump on this because look at this shit. Now, this right here is an atrocity because one, we're going to just start from the top. Mahomes, okay. Josh Allen, Burrow, Lamar, CJ Stroud shouldn't be up here. Now, if you want to say he had an excellent season, not yet.
Oh, he was amazing this season. But
he was amazing.
I bump him to tier 3 for now.
Tier 3 from now, exactly. Right here, I really don't have no arguments, but even for Jordan Love, I would have put him down at tier 2 just because.
I'm putting Brock Purdy down to about tier 2 as well.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, Brock Purdy down to tier 2 as well. Yeah, I agree with that one.
And
how the hell is Kyler Murray up there?
I have no idea.
Seriously, what is the love fest with Kyler Murray?
Is
it because
this guy can't win football games?
Yeah, all I know is, damn that, what the fuck is this? He's never played it down. He should be at tier 5 because he hasn't played it down. So how is he above Baker and all these? He shouldn't be above any of these quarterbacks here. Again, I don't care if you don't like someone. It's football. He did not have a great season.
Anthony Richardson played half a season. Where did they got this information from? Caleb Williams hasn't even thrown a fucking ball yet.
Exactly. And
this is crack. I could understand if someone said this is their prediction at the end of the season of where people are going to end up. But really, before going into the season, you've got no information. I'm putting Caleb Williams tier 4 at best, but I'm probably going tier 5 because he needs to prove himself.
I'm going tier 5.
And wait, Trevor Lawrence is basically Kirk Cousins with the long hair, bro.
Yeah.
So how is he that far? I can get behind some of these, but okay, name me one major accomplishment that Kyler Murray's done. You don't have to bother because he hasn't.
Nope.
So
I was going to say change the light bulb, but he got his missus to do that.
Well, and he needed an 8-foot ladder to do it.
Yeah. You can't even.
That's why his missus did it for him.
But when it comes to Trevor, can we say, guys, that he might have had his worst game, one of his worst career games against us? He was terrible.
Yes. He was terrible against us.
He was awful. First of all, he had no business playing, but as you can see, Slick, they was trying to push him in, which was a bad idea because he was awful. We beat the shit out of him.
Derek Carr was fucking awful.
Yep.
Some of these are in here over reputation alone.
And how do the Bengals have 2 quarterbacks on this list? Oh, isn't that a Bengal at the bottom one there too?
No, that's a Brown.
No, it's 2 Browns.
Oh no! Oh yeah. Oh, Jake
Browning.
Browning.
It's 2 Browns.
You're right. It's 2.
It's James Winston and
Jake Browning.
touched by a woman.
Oh, the 4th one from the left on the bottom row looks like the Bengal logo behind him.
No, it is. It's Jake Browning. I don't know how he's in.
Okay.
Yeah.
If you put Jake Browning on this list, go fuck yourself, man.
Yeah, I'm sorry, but the season and the stats that he had this year, you got to put him right here. You can't put him at no tier 3. Baker, not only did he ball out in the regular season, he balled out in the playoffs. People, I don't understand why people are not looking at this.
Yeah, you win a playoff game, you should be creeping higher into the list.
Yes, you want
to. If you led your team to a playoff game, so here's the thing: why did the Buccaneers go to the playoffs? It's partly to do with him. He led them to the playoffs, and some of these guys that are above him didn't make the playoff. Kirk Cousins didn't make the playoffs. Richardson didn't make the playoffs. Kyler Murray didn't make the playoffs. Trevor Lawrence didn't make the playoffs. Caleb Williams hasn't even played fucking pro football yet.
Didn't make the playoffs. Didn't make the playoffs. Didn't make the playoffs. Didn't make the playoffs. And we whooped his ass when we played him. We beat him down.
No, the only reason we keep Aaron Rodgers where he is because we know that he is a perennial playoff dude. He's been a playoff dude for a very long time. His credentials speak true because of the longevity.
Yep. Everybody else here, though, I can rock with. Yeah, this is where they should be. But this right here, guys, is just disrespectful. You put him here. You put him over Trevor.
Is Justin Herbert really a tier 1?
tier one. And when it comes to this, like I said, Stroud.
He hasn't made a playoff game. He's a tier one quarterback that has never made the playoffs. How's that even possible?
I have no idea. I have
how do you not go? How do you live in the NFL world for fucking 5 years, 4 years, whatever it is, never play a playoff game, and you're considered in the top echelon of quarterbacks?
I don't get it.
That's insane.
That's insane. And look at the stats that
I think Jalen. Yeah, man.
Look at that. Look at that. He should have won comeback player of the year. This is great.
We know that. Who won it in the end? I can't remember.
It wasn't him. So I couldn't. And Christopher Cole, you just said it. Cousins couldn't do it with JJ. Cousins couldn't win it with JJ. So how are he gonna do it in Atlanta? We've been trying to say the same thing. We don't know either, guys. Again, this list though was some bullshit. It's just the simple fact that Baker, and I love that everybody loves to talk about the past. It just shows you, Slick, that some people just hate to be wrong, because you and I have said it already. When it comes to the Browns, you got to throw that shit out the window. That was a fugazi, guys. That was smoke and smears. That was hype. Odell is not Evan.
Look at who he had one good season. He had one really good season there when they beat the brakes off the Steelers.
That's right.
And then it kind of they did enough from a person bringing in personnel. I think they did a really good job of it. I just didn't think they had the coaching. I think they didn't have a decent offensive coordinator. Who the fuck gave Kitchens that just shows how badly ran you are. Freddie fucking Kitchens, he ain't even fucking been nothing in anywhere. And you give him the head coaching job. I think the Carolina fucking Panthers are fucking insane for doing what they've done. It's no knock on Canales. Canales is a 1-year coach. He's year one of being the offensive coordinator. Now you're asking him to run the entire program. Such a big thing. Someone said to me and said, "Steve, you want to be the head coach of the such and such?" I'd say no, thank you. I honestly do not think I'm ready for it. I want to spend another year, probably looking to segue into being a defensive coordinator either next year or the year after. And I'm okay with that. I'd rather take my time than punch it. But I understand why Canales would want it, because it is an opportunity to earn really big money, really quickly, because coaches' contracts are not like players' contracts. They don't have fucking all these bullshit clauses. They don't have all this fucking guaranteed money and signing bonuses and perforated fucking bonuses. And, you know, it's not the same. You if you're being paid $10 million a year, you're being paid $10 million a year until that fucking contract is served the end. And that's why colleges go broke, because they're like, we just paid all that money for that coach, and then they fire him and they got to bring another coach, and they ain't got the money to bring him in.
Nope, not at all. And again, you just said it though. Bad teams make desperate decisions, and sometimes desperate decisions are not always the best because you're not being logical. That's what the Browns did with the Kitchens and all that bullshit. And again, you when you're that desperate because you want, and again, this is why you can tell certain organizations that are run by social media. When the hype is there, then we got to make these moves because we got to keep this going. No, you have to keep it going by being patient and drafting the right player. Like our guy Jason Light.
Look at the Raiders. You know, they had an opportunity to get who did they get? Who was the guy that they got rid of?
You mean Khalil Mack?
The year that they made the playoffs but didn't win.
Well, Khalil
a couple of seasons ago. No, the coach.
The coach. Oh,
they got Antonio. Rich Bisaccia. Rich Bisaccia takes over after they get rid of they fired John Gruden because of all the drama with the fucking emails and shit. Yep. Whatever. And they bring their interim special teams coach in as their head coach. They go on a streak. They make the playoffs, which, let's face it, in that division's tough to do.
Yes, it is.
There was still Justin Herbert. He's still a good quarterback. I just wouldn't put him at tier one. because he hasn't led anyone to the playoffs. I just think if you can't be labeled one of the best best to do it right now, if you can't win if you can't even get into the playoffs, you should be exempt. You should be at minimum, at the very highest. You should be a tier 2. I just don't think you're allowed to be in tier 1 if you can't even get to the playoffs in your entire career so far. And he's been around for 5 minutes, so for them to get where they got to, I mean, I assumed he died and the Raiders just kept on ascending, but the players loved him, everyone loved him, and then the Raiders go, you know what? No, we're going to go and get this coach that shit the bed once before.
Right. And now look at him. And the same with Canales.
And now look at him. They couldn't get it done. They paid him a shit ton of money to go over there, and they're going to be paying him a shit ton of money for a few more years.
You're right. And
that's why they have to go down. And then you eventually have to go down the route where you do get cheaper coaches. And cheaper coaches, guess what? Yield shit results.
And they're on a shorter leash anyway. They're on an unrealistic leash. It's like, damn it, you only giving me 2 seasons to turn this shit around. If anything, it's gonna take 2 seasons just to look like we got hope.
But it could take 2 seasons just to start the building blocks of getting it right. Because you have a lot of old contract on there. You have the turnover. It's getting the belief in. It's getting the locker room flipped around. It's getting your message across. That takes time. It's not going to be something that you do year 1. Not every team can do it. Most teams don't do it in year 1. It's usually year 2 to year 3. Year 3, if you're not yielding results by year 3, you need to look at getting a new head coach.
Agreed.
But you need to have that patience.
You have to have the patience, and you just also have to be realistic. And I think that's why the Bucs realistically have a chance. And again, with Canales is going to learn that it's different when you are guaranteed, when you have an elite receiver in Evans, when you have a top tier receiver in Godwin, when you had a line that was, built for the pass. It's different when you have that plethora of talent. Like you said, what's going to happen when you deal with Bryce Young? Who the fuck are you going to throw to? At that level, it's unrealistic. But again, bad teams make desperate decisions. And when you are pressured by social media, you crumble and fold. That's why we love Jason Light. Jason Light said, I don't give a shit what y'all think. When we drafted Vita Vea instead of Derwin James, the world laughed at us and said, you guys are crazy. Derwin James is a sensation. My man Light said, I know what I'm doing. And what happened when Vita came back in 2020? We won a Super Bowl because his presence was felt, guys. Derwin James ain't even Derwin James has been surpassed by yours in Winfield. It shows you sometimes if you cannot, you got to say fuck social media. Sometimes you got to say ESPN, you don't know what the hell you're talking about. We do. And if you fail,
I'll tell you what, I wonder how many, I'd love to know the stats on this. Obviously, we'll never know, but I'd love to know how many times a team is picked based on social media and media bias, media's like fanfare.
Yeah,
I'd love to know how many picks have been made just because of hype. I'd love it just to know. Like, no one's going to admit to it because it means it shows how shit you are, right? No one's going to admit to it.
So you mean
it's basically saying, yeah. We once read an ESPN article about how good this guy was, and we were like fucking sold. So we went ahead and drafted that dude, and fuck, no one's going to say that because they look like the world's shittest GM. So, but also the media, the whole media thing, it's a really good point because didn't the Raiders do a whole thing where they got Mike Mayock, and he's this media guy? I like his media breakdowns of players and stuff. They always seem refreshing. They always seem pretty shit up. So everyone thought they got the right guy because he talks the talk on draft day. But could he actually draft? No.
Nope. And it's different. Again, talking shit and actually being the shit is two different things. But again, that's what happens. But at the end of the day, I just want to give the final notes, and I'll let you get on up out of here. What message would you like to say to Buck fans when it comes to the social media talk about the Bucs and the lack of respect we're getting? What would be your message to the Buck fans out there who just don't understand?
Okay, Buck fans, fuck what anyone else says. You know in your heart of hearts what is fucking right. And if you think Mike Evans is the best wide receivers ever, then that's your opinion. A, you're allowed it. Since we've heard free speech is allowed, say your piece, get it out there. I don't give a fuck if you're upset about it. I love the fact that you're upset about it because it shows your passion and how much you care about this team. Me personally, I care none. Sometimes I'll just laugh. I'll laugh and I'll scoff at them, and I will have like a little bit of like a mini rant to my wife. I'm like, oh, Mike Evans does the 13th best wide receiver. Oh, fuck this shit. It is bullshit. But I don't need it because I know my just desserts and my rewards are coming. I won't get them this year, and I might not get them next year or the year after that. Do you know how many times I've been banging the Mike Evans drum and everyone just looked at me? Where they're like now? They used to be like, now they're like, yeah, he's a good player. Yeah, he's a good player. He's good. They're all in agreement that he is that good. The amount of times people have told me at the beginning of the season, you're trading Mike Evans. We're not trading Mike Evans. Yeah, he doesn't even want to be a Buck. Okay, we'll see. I just sat there and go, we'll see. I know, and I said, I know better. Oh, you think you know everything? Just watch. Mike Evans doesn't go, yeah, but you ain't going to sign him. You've kept him for this season, but you ain't going to keep him around. He ain't going to sign a long year. He's gone. He's going to go to a contender slick. And I'm like, all right, you watch. Yeah, your days with Mike Evans is done. Sign deal. And I'm like,
And then it's like, oh, exactly. I love it. And I love what, like you said, you've just repeated everything I said. Buck fans, again, just do your own research for the love of the game. That's all I got to say on that, because when you do that, it'll make things so.
But it doesn't matter whether you get upset by it or not.
So yeah, on that note,
it doesn't matter if you get upset by it, and it doesn't matter if you don't get upset by it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And again, guys,
always, the way I look at it. But yeah, that's the way I always look at it. You just if you're in your feelings over the whole Mike Evans or that the way you know that there's going to be a ranking system of where we're going to come in the season, yeah, and you know it's going to piss you off because you love this team so much, you want it to have respect, you want the respect on the table. But I tell you one thing, Buck fans, when the chips are down and they're talking shit about us, do you know how smug you can be come the end of the season and you're the one that's right? Just keep the receipts. Keep those receipts. File them away. Keep them in your back pocket. It's going to be a long season. I know you want to use them now. I know you want to get angry. Don't. Keep them in your back pocket. And when you go to the bar and they're still talking shit, because they'll move on to the next thing. They won't remember what they said because they don't want to remember what they said because you were right. And then you can go, you remember when you said that? Look at fun.
And that's what we're going to plan on doing this entire season, guys. And again, thank you for tuning in on the Bucs Aftermath on 102.8. I'm sorry, on the Aftermath. Just check us out. Continue to hang with us. We always talk that good Bucs talk. And again, you can always find me on my own personal website and podcast on It's About Buck and Time. This is our new logo. We're trying to get mean. And you feel what I'm saying? And yeah, always. And got the new merch.
We need to get those t-shirts on when we go to Tampa, bro.
Oh, I already got one. Yep, I got you, homie.
Or
and you're gonna be good.
Cap or something. We're gonna get something. We're gonna rep that shit.
Absolutely. And as always, guys, go Bucs, and I will see you later on, Slick. Take care, brother.
I'll see you later on, brother. And you. Okay, guys, that is the end of the show. We're going to try and do this around about the same time every week. Obviously, as you can tell, I am from the UK, which means right now it is about 1 a.m. and I now have a day job. So, you know, it is temperamental because we used to do this a little bit later, but I'm going to try and get it in so I can get this in. Costello, how's the team? The team's good. We're 3-1. We're about to go into a team against a team called the Lancashire Wolverines. They run a gun T, so we've been kind of prepping, getting ourselves ready for that because they caused us a few little problems. We beat them, but it wasn't as convincing as we wanted it to be. We gave up a bit too many yards on the ground. The passing game was pretty sound, so we need to work on that and get ourselves right, get ourselves hyped. We've got a couple more practices before that game comes up. That's next Sunday. We'll be playing them, so we're just getting ready. We're just finding a fucking way to win a game, and just keep this streak going. And then we go against the big rivals, the team that beat us, Stafford Surge. They've also run a gun team, and they're very, very good at it. And they've recruited very well. They've had a load of transferred players transfer from other teams to go and strengthen their squad. So they will be a bit of a wrecking ball, so to speak. And we have a 3-game series with them. So they won the one. We're hoping to we're hoping to, at minimum, split the difference. If not, take the whole fucking thing by ourselves. Get into the playoffs and make some noise and see what we can shake out. Maybe it's ring hunting season. So, but yeah, things are going good. Just come from practice myself, so got mine there. So we'll be ready to go. Practice on Sunday, get things right, get a few things ironed out in coverage, coming up with some new stuff. Nothing too crazy because you never want to go against your scheme. You want to stay within the scheme. So we're looking at that shit and get ourselves right. We've got a hype video out, so check out the Sandwell Steelers online. You type in the Sandwell Steelers. There's a cool hype video done for the adult team and our juniors team, which is basically a high school football level football team. We don't have high school football here, but we have an under 19s program. So thank you very much, Castello. I appreciate you and everything you said. Without everyone else, further ado, thank you for coming in, tuning in, and joining us on some Bucs chat. We'll see you guys next week, hopefully the same place and at the same time. If not, we'll move it, let you guys know, and we'll go and kick some ass on it. Bucs on me, Bucs on free. 1, 2, 3, go Bucs!